For those of you who thought that a video entitled The Doors would be a Jim Morrison video in concert, I apologize. But if you are looking for Riders on the Storm, I do have one of those to show you in a minute. This is the storm that came through the eastern United States on Friday night a few days ago. So I was in the barn where I keep a lot of my salvage when this storm came up, and a huge wind blew my canoe from the cart where it usually stays across this pile of salvage midair, didn't damage any of the salvage, and slammed it into the side of the barn right there where you see that big divot. Scared me to death, made a huge bang. So there's your rider on the storm. Get it? I know, bad dad joke. Now let's go to the real video about the doors. Hey folks, Tom Fretz here, Virginia Picker over in Southampton County, Virginia. Working on the shop this morning, working on a door rack to hold all of my old salvage doors. Right over here in this corner up against the wall. I'm hoping I can get all of the doors that I've collected over the years in one line along this wall. I'm not sure how many lineal feet it will take, but starting on the door rack this morning, so we'll see how that goes. So all of the materials that I'm using are materials that I've salvaged or that were in this shop when I bought it, except for the 2x4s, 12 feet long, that will be my uprights to divide sections of doors. Did have to buy those. So my platform is going to be 24 inches wide, and I'm just using a lot of the old plywood that was either here or that I've brought back, small pieces from projects, and I'll cut those to make the base for the door rack. Feet long. That'll give me 3 pieces, 24 inches. I'm not concerned about the width because I'm just going to keep going all the way down the rack. It doesn't matter what width these pieces are as long as they're 24 inches wide. And I just happen to have a nice little gap between these two tables, which is where I'm actually doing my cutting. Some of these old 4x4s are really warped badly, but whenever I put the uprights in, and the weight of the doors, that'll hold everything down, and I'm not real concerned about that. Time to put in a few uprights. I need to brace that first upright off of the end wall down there so that when I lean the doors up against it, it doesn't bow. It needs to be strong and sturdy. So I'm going to cut a few blocks and brace the upright off of the wall. Who?
Am I interrupting?
Yes.
How's it coming along?
I just laid a bunch of 4x4s down that I had here, cutting up some old plywood that I have here. I bought those yesterday. My problem is these old 4x4s were so crooked that it was lifted up off the floor in some places. So I can't really attach these up there and down here, or when I put the door on it, it's gonna pull away. You know, because it's the weight of it's gonna push this down.
Yeah.
So I think this one I just
Oh, I see what you're saying.
put 2 screws on each side so these will float a little bit. See how it moves? So I'm gonna go from 36 inch to 24 to 18 over there. Okay, let's see how well this thing works or if I need to make any adjustments. Now that's a cool old door. They call that a tombstone door. Just a typical 4-panel arch top door. I love these old brown stone doorknobs. They're a little more rare than the white ones. And I'll come back later and take all the hardware off these doors, but I'm really just kind of anxious to get them into the rack. Then I'll come back later and clean them up, take off the hardware. Just the neighbors having a little fun. So there we go, at least got a start on it. And I can put some shelving up above. That'll leave me almost, about 4 feet up there if I store more stuff. All good. So this door has several interesting components. It's got East Lake hinges. It's got this cool old doorbell, which had a spinner on this side. Of course, this is the inside of the door. So on the outside, as you came to the front door, there was a little handle that you would twist that would ring this bell. Of course, it's got the old white granite or marble doorknobs and a cool old brass lock. So that's a pretty neat one. This little door was on a barn. It belongs to a friend of mine. There are 2 of them that are identical. And the barn was is probably still standing. Probably 200 years old, at least 150. There's a brass little pull ring right here. Just an old farm barn door. Pretty neat though. Make a nice coffee table, I think. Here's the other one. I think it's identical. Might be a little narrower, but I think it's identical. Same brass pull ring, and that's looks like a hand forged brass ring right there. Pretty cool. There's another old door from the same location. This one still has the old steel. That's the staple that went into the jamb of the door where you could lock the door. But that's pretty old school right there. That's a full load. This is where all the rest of the doors are, almost all of them. Oop, wasps after me. This is where I've kept the majority of the doors, although I still have some at some other locations. Lots of doors. These are temporary braces just to stabilize those so I can throw some more doors in here. And after I get 2 more sets of posts in, I'll run another permanent brace like that one. These doors are made out of cypress boards, which is why they've lasted for so long. Pine would not have lasted as well unless it was well protected. I got these doors out of the old Southampton Historical Society building that they just recently took down because they're building a new one, but these are in really good condition, mint condition. If you watch my daughter Emma's videos, the Southampton Historical Society building where I got these doors was the location where we salvaged 3 of the big old steel windows that were there. So I want to thank those folks for allowing us to do that. Look at that cute little doorknob. For some reason, it's a lot smaller than the typical ones. I don't know if that was for a closet or if it was just a different manufacturer, but it's pretty cute, just a little baby one. $57. And I'm thinking that might be half of what I have that I've got to get in here. So looks like those tables are going to have to move, and the rack is going to run on down the wall until I run out of space or run out of doors, whichever. I got to get this old board off of the wall because it's not letting my window sashes go in as far as I'd like them to go. This has been sitting over there by itself since we put those sashes in there. I guess this is the one that it belongs in. So the count at the moment is 57 doors and 44 window sashes, and we will revisit this project at a later date. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the kind comments. Please subscribe and share, and if you like old houses and salvage and old things, please check out my other videos. I hope to have another one for you next week. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you next week. Until then, enjoy the journey.